Welcome to Nawiri Wellness Stories. Here, we will share with you stories of how life affects us differently and impacts our wellness. If you can relate in any way to the characters in these stories, you're welcome to reach out to share your story too. Today's story is about Pregnant and Rejected. Waithera was born in a family where humble didn't begin to describe the state of their existence. She not only had many siblings, brothers and sisters from her mother, she also had step-siblings. Her mother was the second wife in a polygamous family, and there were 6 in her family. She was the second born. Her stepmother had 8 children, most of them older than Waithera. Waithera's parents were hardworking by the standard of the day. It just happens that given the number of children in the family, taking care of basic needs was a real tough task to accomplish. It was also the case that parental attention for Waithera and her siblings was very limited to the bare minimum. Parents were busy trying to make ends meet. Playing with children was thus a luxury they could ill afford. Waithera proceeded to primary school when she came of age. Her school life was not easy. She struggled to achieve average marks. She was the laughingstock of her classmates as well as her siblings back home. She also didn't have anyone to really take her through the areas of difficulty. This situation did not get better as she went up the classes. The ridiculing and shaming persisted. She had hoped it would go away with time, but not so. When Waithera reached upper primary, class 7, she was now very distraught and was really keen to get over and done with the primary school business. Many are the days she toyed with the idea of just quitting school. She didn't. She got to class 8 and did the national exams. She didn't do too well. She scored slightly below average, 240 out of 500. Her mother was happy with her performance. Waithera wasn't too thrilled. She was taken off to secondary school. If primary school learning was hard, secondary school was the beast. Much as she tried to read and understand, she just couldn't get those concepts. Getting to Form 2, she met the man who to her was the prince of her life, and she soon was having sexual relations with him. He made her feel special. Trouble came knocking so soon. Waithera, within 6 months of getting into a relationship with Kwatu, got pregnant. She was jolted. She wasn't expecting this outcome. She had been told by Kwatu she wouldn't get pregnant if she took a shower immediately after the sexual act, and this she did religiously. This pregnancy hit her like a thunderbolt. She was angry with herself for allowing herself to get pregnant. She held herself responsible. She was filled with guilt and even shame. Shame on many fronts. She was the first girl in her family to get pregnant before getting married. Her mother was a staunch believer in their local church, a member of the Women's Guild. She felt that she had disappointed the mom. On the other hand, she was happy to stop going to school given the struggles that she had encountered up to that point. Her parents didn't seek to have her stay in school until giving birth. She was left to live on life terms. She opted to go live with Kwatu. She looked forward to receiving more of the love he had showed her in the past 6 months. Unfortunately for Waithera, Kwatu was not ready to be a father, and so set out to frustrate Waithera. He did nasty things to her. He regularly didn't give her financial and social support as she needed. And yet, she wasn't working. He was also very violent towards her. He beat her almost daily and told her very nasty things. He even suggested that Waithera may be expecting the child of another man. The frail 16-year-old was very upset with the audacity of Kwatu. She had hoped to get solace from the ongoing bickering of her family. She now realized that she was being accused falsely of disrespecting her union with Kwatu. She was being physically abused by her known husband, whose attitude towards her had changed so drastically and was not welcomed by her in-laws, in addition to being shamed and ridiculed by her birth family. She was a rejected adolescent in a pregnant state. When we experience a teenage girl who gets pregnant while in school, we often have mixed reactions. Some people pity the girl, So young and now in the family way. Some think that the parents failed to guide her well, and so she went astray. Some think that she was or is a truant and didn't take the teachings of her elders seriously. She got this coming, right? Some think, this one is a wrong number, a bad influence for others in her age group, and should not be allowed to interact with them, lest she infects them with her not so pleasant traits. I challenge us to consider these possible alternatives that could have led the teenage girl to this pregnant state. What if, like Waithera, she had learning difficulties? The challenges with school weren't understood and she got no support to navigate this experience. That she was ridiculed and shamed incessantly for a situation that she knew little of how to manage effectively and just wanted out of the unending pressure? What if she was defiled? What if she was ignorant of the biology of sex and didn't know that she could get pregnant by engaging in the act? What if she was enticed by her peers who told her she was the only one not yet engaging in sex and that if she continued abstaining, she would never get a husband in future? What if life was so tough at home that the allure of getting basic needs provided by the party who impregnated her kept her from thinking critically about the risk posed by the sexual engagement? What if there was so much hostility at home and the responsible party showed her love and affirmation, which she so craved, and this blinded her from appreciating the risk she was getting into with this engagement in sex? What if there were so many cases of teen pregnancy around her and she had no role model or a picture of how a better future would look like given her circumstances? What if she was prostituted and didn't even know who the person responsible for her pregnancy was? What if? I hold the view that teenage pregnancy is a tough experience for the teenage girl. Just being pregnant with its biological effects is tough. Add the psychological effects from the family and external relationship. These make it even tougher. Showing some grace and empathy would go a long way in helping them navigate this phase of their lives with some sense of humanity and humanness. Do you have such a story? Would you like to share your story? If yes, you may reach us on 0745 629 474 or email us on nawiriwellness@gmail.com.